Hello, it's Miss Christie here, and I have a little wet felting tutorial today to show you how to make little wet felted discs that you can make flowers from for the children's make rounds. So what we're going to need is a little bit of colored wool, and then I have some hot water, I have some cold water, and I have a little bit of dish soap. What you'll also need is a lid from a jar. I'm going to use this jam jar lid today, but you could use any size jar lid that you would like, depending on how small or how large you would like your flower to be. So the first thing to do is to take the lid from the jar and start to put the wool inside of the lid. You just want to make sure that there's a nice little cushion of wool so that it can be rather thick, because once we get it wet, it's going to smush down and become flatter. So here is the wool, and then I'll show you what happens when you pour. I'm going to pour some of the cold water over it. As you do that, then the wool begins to tamp down inside of the lid. So I'm just going to let it get all absorbed into the wool, and I have a bowl underneath so that the water can drip out into that. And now I've got just the right amount of wool inside my lid here. And I'm going to take a little bit of dish soap and put it in and begin to agitate the wool, because that is what helps the fibers to lock together, this agitation. You can push up and down with your thumbs or your fingers, and the children love to do this. This is a really fun activity. They always like water and soap and bubbles, and it's a very wonderful sensory activity to do with the children. You can do it with your fingers as well, and it's really this agitating motion that helps knit the fibers together so that they stay in the shape that you want them to. And I let the extra water drip out into the bowl beneath. So after doing that for a little while, I had first put the cold water in. Now I'm going to put a little hot water in. And this alternation of the hot and the cold water helps to knit the fibers together. If you ever have washed a wool sweater by accident in the washing machine on hot, especially if there's a cold rinse, it comes out shrunken and the fibers all knit together and they lose their elasticity. I'm going to put a little more soap in. This is a really fun activity with the soapy water, but it can be a little bit hard on our hands, as dish soap can sometimes be. So when you're all finished, you might want to put a little cream on the children's hands, just so that, and your hands, just so they don't get too dried out. Now at this point, it's starting to knit together, and I can actually lift it out of the lid. You see how it's forming? I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to keep working it on the other side. Just tamping it down. And I'm going to put a little more soap in, and you can also do this type of action on the top. That helps to knit the fibers together. And so you basically keep doing this for about 5 minutes or so, tamping it down, alternating the hot and the cold water, turning it over, doing both sides quite a few times. And by the time you're finished, you have a disc I think what I would do is I would probably rinse it out a little bit because there's a lot of soap in it. So just to finish it off, maybe rinse it out. Use some cold water and push out the soap. And it got pretty soapy in there. Get a little more cold water to rinse it. Push out the soap. Turn it over, do the other side. This is so pretty, this wool with this golden color. And then basically you can take it out and you can use a paper towel. Let me get a paper towel. Or you can use a tea towel. Put this over here. And you can press it out, make it nice and flat. And let the disc dry. And once it is dry, you have this beautiful flat, it's like a golden sun, isn't it? And when it's dry, here's one I did earlier. The way you want to make it into a flower is you press down in the center and you have a little area down at the bottom here that you can stitch with a needle and thread, and this becomes a little flower to put on your children's May crown. And they can help you do most of this activity, including the sewing, if you help them. All right, that's all for today. Thank you.